Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we have a reading for you about somebody who has been avoiding the actual evidence or information that they've been seeing. We've got the avoiding card and somebody covering their eyes. They don't want to be honest about how someone's actually treating them or what the situation is actually like. We have the delusional card, so they're wanting a particular reality and they see that instead of the one that is actually right in front of them. So a little difficult to, I don't know, feel like this person is latching on to what's really going on, because what's more important to them is believing that what they want is actually happening. So we could be talking about someone who's delusional about a romantic connection or delusional about a living or a working situation. Let's get some more detail. We'll call in spirit with some wind chime time, or a lot of wind chime time. I hope you're having a good day. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, along with more information on how to become a member and also a link to my Etsy page in case you want one of my candles. All right, let's dive in. I think we shall start with the Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's see what else we've got for you. What else? Three of Candles or Three of Wands in the reverse. Six of Needles or Six of Swords in the reverse. And the Page of Needles or Page of Swords. So things are getting worse, but whoever I'm reading, they're not doing anything about it. It's like, yeah, I know that person's, not home and it's 1 a.m, so I should probably be asking questions. But, maybe they just got caught up. Maybe there's just a lot going on at work. Maybe they're hanging out with their best friend. This is someone who doesn't want to make sense of the details that they have in front of them. They'd rather be confused and not do the math. Page of Pentacles and the Four of Swords in the reverse, or Four of Needles in the reverse. Part of the issue is if I am honest with myself about the situation that's really happening right now, then it makes me realize that I have something I have to do. If I know that this relationship is ending, or I should be ending this relationship, then that also means that I have to be looking for a new place to live, or I have to be changing my spending habits because I'm going to be going back to, needing to take care of everything myself. We have someone who doesn't want to accept the reality of it because the reality of it would require them to do something different, to change their lifestyle or to plan for disruption. And they don't want to do that. They're like, maybe that person's not the best, but at least with my current situation, I can drink every day, or I can afford the more expensive coffee, or, I got this really nice living situation. I don't want to change it. Hello, Famous Seamus. Hello, Dendel. How's it going? Hello, Hooks. How are you doing? Hello, Tona. How are you doing? Hello, Carrie. Hello, Holy Smoke. What's up? We have the Knight of Needles or the Knight of Swords. The Nine of Presents or Nine of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. So even though I'm really stuck and I should be focusing on making some changes, it's like I'm trying to, motion around to my surroundings and say, this is great, I love it, it's wonderful, this is exactly what I wanted. but it's not. I don't know. It's like if somebody were to ask you how you're doing, and that somebody who's asking you how you're doing is a person that you're trying to sell something to, or a person that you're trying to impress. It's like you're not going to tell them the exact truth. You're probably going to tell them like a nicer version of it. We got somebody who doesn't want to be honest with themselves, or perhaps with family or friends, that what they've been investing in, this relationship or this living situation, maybe it's a job, right? It could be, I really wanted this job. I don't want to admit that it is like not worth it. It's not worth all the struggle. It's not worth the hours. It's not worth the pay. There's someone here who just does not want to admit that what they have been working towards, or what they said they wanted, ended up not being at all what they want. Because if I admit that it's not what I want, then I have to also admit that I wasted all this time, or I wasted all this energy. And gosh darn it, I don't want everybody to tell me I told you so. I just really don't want that. They're nervous. They're nervous that they're going to be told, like, I told you that was not going to work out. Why didn't you listen to me way back then? Hello, Rachel. We are 6.5 minutes in. Hello, Warlock. Thank you, Hooks. Hello, Charlie. How's it going? This is the Marseille Cat Tarot. What else? We have the Seven of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. You deserve better is the general theme here. The Delulu person is pretending that something is a better situation than it actually is. Because if they were to be honest with themselves about what's really going on, it would break their heart. They would be upset to acknowledge, you know, I moved across the country and uprooted my whole life for a job that I hate. Or, you know, I asked someone to marry me. We got married. I thought it was like my perfect relationship. And then they're actually like really mean, or they're never home, or they never spend any time with me. There's a slowness to accept the reality because it is a reality that is disappointing. I don't want to admit that I got excited over something that I probably should have rejected, or that isn't really what I wanted after all. So now I have to think about undoing all of this work. Now I have to think about moving out. Now I have to think about, you know, getting divorced or whatever it is. Now I have to undo this, and I was so excited. So maybe it's just better for me to pretend that everything is okay. Hello, Turbo, what's up? We have the Death card in the reverse and the Page of Cups. So there's no, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any change here. It doesn't seem like things are going to improve. And yet we have this individual acting as though like everything's going to be fine. Even though if it continues to be the way that it has been, it's definitely not going to be fine. It's actually awful. So we have the Star, the Nine of Cups in the reverse, and the Tower. So something happens to really underscore the reality of this connection being not what they want. Again, take the reading how it resonates. If this is about a job, apply it to that. But we have something that really makes it obvious. This person doesn't care about you. This person is not valuing you the way that they should. This person does not treat you like, if they really did love someone, they don't treat you that way. So with the Tower, this is like a slap in the face. Like, okay, so now we really know that you have a question mark here. Now we really know that this person that you've been prioritizing is not worth it. So are you going to do something about it? Are you, when someone like shakes you awake and slaps you across the face and you realize what's really going on, are you going to do something about it, or are you just going to continue to ignore it? So we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse, the Nine of Swords in the reverse, and the Four of Swords in the reverse. This feels to me like a best friend or a sibling saying, like, can you get a hold of yourself? Like, you wanted this, you said this was going to be great, or you wanted to have this job, you wanted to be in this relationship, but it doesn't sound that great to me. It sounds like you've been sacrificing, or it sounds like you've been upset. It sounds like you've been confused. Like, what is so great about this connection? Feels to me like you would be much better off without this person. Five of Swords in the reverse and the Page of Swords. Yeah, we have someone who's saying, why are you putting yourself in this situation? Why are you staying in a job that you hate, or in a relationship that makes you feel small? You don't have to continue to do that. You can walk away. You can leave that. Yes, exactly. Gotta have those standards, right? This is the Rider-Waite, or the Waite-Smith. Hello, JD. How are you doing? We have the Six of Cups in the reverse and Temperance. So part of the reason are, let's call them the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords has been a bit delusional, because they have had a difficulty over a long period of time keeping people in their life. So it feels to me like we've had a lot of people who have disappointed the Knight of Swords, people who had obligations or responsibilities towards this Knight of Swords, but they didn't do so. They didn't do what they were supposed to. So probably parents, or at least one parent who was not very parental, and someone who has felt like they've had to do everything on their own. They didn't really get a manual. They didn't get any instructions. They've had to be self-taught, right? This is part of the reason they are a little bit codependent. They have a low, it's like a low threshold of love. Like, oh my gosh, you told me that I don't smell bad. That's so sweet of you. That's like the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. It's, they assume friendship, or when someone goes out of their way to be kind, it really does mean a lot to this person. That's funny, Hooks. So we have the Devil, the Empress in the reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So there's been a lot of negativity, a lot of loss, a lot of insecurity, a lot of fear. And as such, that means that we've got a Knight of Swords who doesn't necessarily have an accurate representation in their mind of their own value. They may tolerate behavior that they should not tolerate because they have not been spending a lot of time with people who are mature or who know how to express emotion appropriately. So this would be somebody who gets back together with exes, even though they shouldn't. This is somebody who maybe doesn't get the best of advice or repeats mistakes because they don't have a great support system. And that's why we have them coming through as Delulu. This is someone who keeps thinking that something's going to work out, even though they have plenty of evidence to suggest the alternative, that it won't work out. So they keep hoping a relationship is going to work, or they keep hoping that someone who is non-committal is going to change completely and become like their dream partner. Hello, Blue Demon. What's up? Oops. What else do we have? The Coffin. This relationship needs to end. Ooh, and we got the Whip. So this is saying it is like torture. It is tedious. It is difficult. It is not fun to stay in this connection. But this delusional individual, the Knight of Swords, feels like they won't have anything else if they leave this relationship. So they continue to stay in a situation that's not good for them because they feel like it would be better than being alone. And I think there are a lot of people out there who think that way. And look, we have to be realistic about what you can afford, having food on the table, all of that. So please make sure that you are planning accordingly. But I also want to encourage those of you out there, if you can find a way to get out of relationships that are holding you back, do so. We have to plan accordingly, right? You have to be able to eat food, have a place to stay, all that good stuff. But this feels to me like someone who believes genuinely that they won't be able to find another relationship if they walk away from this one. And I don't think that that is true. Now, if you are familiar with my channel, you know that when I pull the Whip card, that I have to tell you a joke. Because if I do not tell you that joke, I will get yelled at. Will I not, Raziel? I think I will get yelled at. All right, are you ready? The Whip. No, no, not the Whip. The Whip. No, no, please, not the Whip. The Whip. No, no, please, anything but the Whip. Anything? The Whip. So basically it's time to end this connection because it isn't going to get better. The person who is not treating this Knight of Swords well, they don't have any intention of changing that, right? So we have a conversation or we have communication that happens with this Knight of Swords. And I feel like it's someone who does genuinely care about the Knight of Swords. And they're saying, hey, why are you putting up with this person? Why are you putting up with this behavior? Did I say hello to Carrie? I think I did. I hope I did. Hello, Oracle. How are you doing? And yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. Hello, Christopher. How are you doing? This is the Cat's Eye Tarot. What else do we have? We have the Two of Swords, the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Devil. So yes, there's going to be some instability or some disruption if our Knight of Swords decides to end this relationship and start a new chapter. And they have some fears that they've been obsessing over pertaining to how difficult that change or that transformation process would be that keeps them stuck at that crossroads. So I know I should choose to go my own way or to end this relationship, but the uncertainty of how to make that happen or how to establish like my own situation keeps me from making that decision, keeps me from changing, makes me feel like I need to depend on this person who isn't very good to me for just a little while longer, and then maybe I can figure out a plan. But with the Five of Pentacles and Ace of Swords, it seems like we've got someone who still hasn't said anything about that because they are nervous about being lonesome or they are nervous about their finances. Hello, Merida. How are you doing? Let me know what your question is, and I've got your name written down. Yes, it is much easier if you can attach your question to the super chat going forward, Merida. What else do we have, please? Two of Cups in the reverse. Time for a breakup. Time to walk away from this connection. And be honest that it isn't really doing what you need it to do. Or be honest that this person doesn't seem to value you the way that you deserve to be valued. We have the Four of Wands and the Three of Wands. So a close friend, or maybe it's just a really nice coworker. Someone here is saying you deserve better. It seems to me like you put up with some treatment from that person that is not great. You deserve to, you know, pursue something else or just focus on yourself. And it doesn't mean that you've failed just because that relationship isn't going long term or isn't going to work out. It just means that the two of you aren't meant to be. So this Knight of Swords is contemplating moving out, ending the relationship, and starting something new for themselves. I feel like this is one of the first times that they've actually put themselves first or been willing to admit that they deserve better. This is the Pause Tarot. Meeting on April 9th. Awesome. I've added that for you. Thank you, Merida. And this is the Pause Tarot. Hello, Salvador. How are you doing? What else do we have? Justice in the reverse. Temperance in the reverse. Yeah, you deserve something better than this. This is not somebody that knows how to respect or like honor what you bring to the table. This is more like roommates than lovers. And there's an opportunity for the Knight of Swords to move away from this relationship. Another way of looking at this is the Three of Pentacles could be that friend or that like family member who's saying, hey, you deserve better than that. That doesn't look like love to me. That just looks like somebody who's like tolerating you. King of Pentacles and the Moon with the Chariot. Okay, so sometimes the fear of the unknown keeps you stuck in places that are far worse than the places that you don't know anything about that you're afraid of. So just hop on it. It's time to make that change. We have someone who's afraid of that next chapter, even though the next chapter is much more enjoyable than what they're currently doing, what they're currently enjoying. Hello, Mac. How are you doing? That's good, Raziel. Multiple baskets. What else do we have? Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. Okay, 2 8s in a row. With the King of Cups in the reverse and the Five of Cups. Yeah, this is saying don't waste your time. Don't waste another minute of your time on somebody who doesn't actually care about you. You've got the ability to put in the work or set up a new situation for yourself, and you're wasting time with this person who doesn't care about you. And that time could actually be spent with people who do love you or do appreciate you for who you are, right? Thanks, Mac. So 2 cups in the reverse. They are just really hitting this message home. It's time to break up. It's time to leave this person. They don't deserve you. You deserve better. Just over and over again. This is the Hidden Truth Oracle. What else do we have, please? Did I say hello to James yet? Hello, James. What else do we have? We both know I am not the one for you. And I lost myself for a little while. Look, sometimes what you want to believe is love is actually just codependency or limerence or even desperation. And we have to be able to call ourselves out when that is happening. But this is someone who's at risk of losing what's important to themselves because they are so scared of giving up a relationship that they've known for a long time. But this Knight of Swords knows this is not the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. So at some point, I'm going to have to make a change. At some point, I got to make this decision and take some action on it, right? We have, I look for you everywhere. I don't like that. This feels to me like the delusional individual, our Knight of Swords, is being encouraged to end the relationship because the person that they are dating or the person that they're in a relationship with is still hung up on a third party. I'm starting to understand our connection. We will be together again, and so many things remind me of you. Yeah, I think the Knight of Swords is being encouraged to leave this relationship because their partner is still in love with somebody else, is still looking to like a past relationship and hoping that it comes back around. Hello, Tito. How are you doing? So I'm starting to understand our connection. I feel like the Knight of Swords is realizing maybe this is just something that was meant to reinforce for me that I have value and I deserve to be in a relationship with somebody who treats me well. I left you before you could leave me. Uh-oh. This is the ex. I want to tell you how I feel. So there's a third party, it's probably an ex of the person the Knight of Swords has been dating / living with. And they're talking, they're considering getting back together, or there's some flirtatious conversations. And I feel like a friend of the Knight of Swords is saying, maybe it's time to walk away. Maybe it's time to end this relationship because it seems to me like your person is wanting to get back with their ex, that they're not prioritizing you because they're busy thinking about this person that they were with before. All right. Well, I think they are actually contemplating leaving. I think I know what you're saying with that, Hex. Yes. Yep. Hello, Dave. How are you doing? This is A Gamer's Ways. Locked door. Your party has come upon a mysterious locked door. What do you think? You could risk your last lockpick or see if there's another way around. Free will can be so hard sometimes. Listen for the little voice. So we have this Knight of Swords realizing that there is another problem with their relationship, and they're trying to figure out, am I going to try to like make this work? Am I going to try to look the other way? Or is it time for me to finally just like walk away from this relationship? The cleric is a healer who taps into the energy of spirit guides and angels. So engaged with spirit, they're often perceived to be aloof by others. Having a cleric in your party grants divine favor. So I think the cleric is the person who's having a chat with this Knight of Swords and saying, hey, like if this is so difficult, then why are you still trying? Why are you still chasing this person when it seems like they're obsessed with an ex, you know? Next Generation Remake. Some remakes turn out better than others. This one is S tier. You may be sharing a long cherished game with youngins of your own or enjoying the freshness of it with your player too. This here is a dream come true. Yeah, I think there's a much healthier and happier relationship the Knight of Swords walks into after a period of healing when they let go of this toxic connection. And then it's like they finally realize what real love is supposed to be, and it warms their heart. But there is a friend or some sort of, I don't know, mentor that decides you really need to just like have a conversation about this because it seems like you want to make it work when it's probably not going to work. All right, let's get a few for Merida and start the personal questions. We've got the meeting on April 9th. Will it go in Merida's favor? Will the meeting on April 9th go in Merida's favor? It does look like there's a challenge on this conversation. King of Wands, is this who? Yeah. There is someone who has a pretty bad mood. And it means that things just like kind of start off skewed or not in a good situation. So this is something that you don't have anything to do with or that you maybe don't even know about. It's like this person's going through a breakup and so they're going to say no to everything that happens that day. Or this person is, you know, they're in an argument with their family and so everything irritates them. There's something bad. Is there a possibility of rescheduling? There's a possibility of rescheduling the meeting, which might work in your favor. Because I feel like this is unrelated to the conversation or unrelated to like you. And this person's really angry or irritable. It could have something to do with like marital issues or I'm moving and everything is crazy. But this person, it's like you cannot change anything because they're in such a bad mood. But if we change it to a different date, if there's a possibility of that, then we have someone who's a little bit more reasonable. It's just, it looks to me like there is some very difficult moods impacting this meeting on the 9th. But there's something about after the meeting, like the days that follow, there's a way where maybe somebody's feeling guilty, like I probably ruined that for you, or I should have been more considerate. So I think the meeting on the 9th is not going to go well. I think someone's going to be in a very bad mood. But I do think there's a small chance you could either reschedule it or you bring up the conversation or the subject matter again afterwards and someone feels really apologetic because they think they kind of ruined your meeting. With a statement at work. Okay. Hello, Lemonade. How are you doing? That's okay. Hierophant isn't exactly easy to spell. Let's see. Do we have it close? Of course, it would show you backwards on my screen right now, but that's okay, right? High Priestess. I'm gonna get to the like half end before I find it. There it is. H-I-E-R-O. Better late than never. Yes, exactly. So Merida, I hope all of that makes sense. If you can change the date, I would recommend changing the date. If you cannot change the date, then be prepared or lobby for a second conversation. I think someone's going to feel bad and they're going to want to apologize for talking over you or not being very helpful. Yes, it's true. Hello, Esposito. Would you like to guess? All right. This is the Spanish tarot. Oh, I'm glad. I think you got this, Merida. All right. This is a freebie. I don't know who it's for, but if it's for you, you'll know it's for you. What is the random message, please? Nine of Swords in the reverse. Nine of Cups. The Lovers. And the Empress in the reverse. So for someone out there, we've got a sense of relief, or like, oh, okay, I guess I understand now why things went the way that they went. You're realizing that something that you thought you wanted is really not what you wanted, that thing was not so great, and maybe it's not so awful if it doesn't work out for you. So this looks a little bit like rejection is protection, because we have someone here who is emotionally immature. This is someone who doesn't know how to recognize their emotions or struggles to communicate about them. And you're going to get some sort of insight here into why it was a good thing for you to get distance between you and this person. So it could be a person you rejected. It could be a person who rejected you. It could be a person who maybe there was some ghosting involved and you weren't sure if maybe at some point you might start talking again. But you're going to get insight into this person's inability to really deal with their emotions, and realize that maybe it's best if you invest your time and your energy and your love elsewhere with somebody who actually knows how to deal with that emotional energy, right? Hello, is it Tilly? How are you doing? Not a signs reading, but I might have to do an all signs coming up soon. Comment if you want me to. Not in the live chat, in the regular comments, because I probably won't come back and look at the live chat. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for... Hello, Soren. How are you doing? Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you are able to. Hello, Bearcat. And I will see you on the next reading. Toodles.